Okay, 6.2 level 1. Well, all of 6.2 is dealing with graphing what we call parabolas. So way long time ago, in the beginning of the year, we had equations like this. X squared plus, 4x plus 4. And we used to have you factor them to find what x equaled. Well, now what we're going to do is we're going to graph these. So we've also done these where we had y equals, say, 1/2 x plus 4. And when you graph that, that created a line. Okay, however many points you made, all those points went up to be a line. Well, when you have an equation like x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals y, it creates what we call a parabola, which is in the picture below. So in a parabola, there are a couple key parts to the graph, and they're highlighted below here. So it says the x-intercepts. Well, x-intercepts we've talked about many times before. So that is just where the graph intersects the x-axis. So right there and right there. So at those points, that is at -2, 0, and at +2, 0. The y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis, which is down there. This is going to be at 0, -4. Okay. So those are nothing new, just a different place to look on the graph. The vertex, though, that is definitely new. So the vertex is a point in which the graph will change direction. So what I mean by that is if we highlight this graph here, it's coming down and then it starts to go back up. Well, when it starts to go back up, that's where the vertex is. And in this graph, the vertex just happens to be the y-intercept as well. So the vertex is also at 0, -4. Okay, it's like the lowest point. The vertex could also be the highest point when it's, a parabola could look like that, and the vertex could be up there. Okay? The axis of symmetry, so think about what symmetry means. Symmetry means same on one side as it is on the other side. So the axis of symmetry, if I draw a line here, the left side isn't the same as the right side. If I draw a line here, it's still not the same. So where I want to draw this is right through the center of that vertex. That way the left side looks the same thing as the right side. If I folded this piece of paper along that line, everything would match up. So that axis of symmetry always starts with x equals, and it's always the x coordinate of the vertex. So in this case, it's going to be x equals 0. Okay, so now we've got the intervals of increasing and decreasing. This is going to be a theme throughout the whole skill this week. So intervals of increasing and intervals of decreasing. Imagine you have somebody that's going to start over here on this side of the graph, and he's always going to start on that side, on the left-hand side. And he's going to travel along the black graph here all the way up and over. So if you want to, think about his height off the ground. So if he's running down a hill, he's going down the hill. This is where he is decreasing if he's running down. So his intervals of decreasing are right in here. I'm going to do this in blue. And his intervals of increasing would then be, as soon as he gets to the bottom of the hill, he's going to go back up. So much like when we did domain, we always talked about the x values. That's the same thing with intervals of increasing and decreasing. You're still talking about the x values. So the blue values, if you notice that there's a little arrow down there, it's going to start decreasing from -infinity, okay, because the x values keep getting more and more negative, like this -5 and -10. So we start from -infinity, and where it stops decreasing is right at that vertex, at that point of x equals 0. And it's going to be parentheses always on both of them. And then intervals of increasing are going to be from 0 to +infinity, okay? Because of that arrow, and still parentheses. Okay, so pretty similar to domain, just looking at a different part of the graph. And then your vertex, is it a maximum or a minimum? Well, what do you think it is? Is it the low point or is it the high point? In this case, this is going to be the low point. It's going to be a minimum.